set this up for you. Way back in 2011 when the Animated Blot comic came out, I was all like, Animated Blot. I bet I could build that out of a snarl. That's only Blot though, who cares? Back to doing 2011 stuff. Dear Will and Kate, I will not be able to attend your wedding, as I will be occupying Wall Street. And everything was fine until this jerk comes along. See, I've always kind of liked Blot. I mean, not for any particular reason. I didn't have him as a kid. I don't really remember ever seeing him do anything. But somehow the Unique Toys version really spoke to whatever it was that I liked about Blot. But I didn't really want to start a new third-party combiner, so I figured maybe I'll dust off that Animated Blot idea I had as a way to appease my insane Blot lust. You probably don't remember him from his breakout one-panel appearance at the ass end of an unpopular comic, but there he is, totally being a thing, both in the old-fashioned mysterious monstrosity sense and the newfangled sense in that he exists. You can see, compared to that comic image, I livened up the color scheme a bit with some G1 influence, hence the silver and the light blue highlights and the red nipples. He's mostly made from snarl, as was decreed in years gone by, but the forearms here are actually the legs off animated Cybertron mode Optimus, a figure which seems to serve no purpose other than to be used in customs. The cannon on top and the quad nipples are off animated Blitzwing. I'm kind of like an inverse Native American when it comes to Blitzwing. I don't use every part of the Blitzwing, but I do use Blitzwing parts in everything I make. That would have been more apropos if it was about Beast Wars Bone Crusher, but he doesn't have any nipples. You guys like tangents, right? Of course you do. Who doesn't like tangents? These little circular dealies are off Pterodive, and pretty much everything else, the claws, the shoulder pads, this tower that I'm only realizing now is probably supposed to be a backpack. That's all made from styrene. Articulation is a little limited. Snarl was never the most mobile of dudes, and I haven't really done him any favors with the new basic elbows and hunched monsterly stance. The head also, unfortunately, I wanted to make the jaw open, but getting this shape right and having it look and transform correctly was already difficult enough, which is also my excuse for why it can't turn. I used red chrome vinyl for the eyes, but you can really only see that along with his stylish silver guy liner from the side. That's not really my fault, that's just how Blot rolls, you know, running directly into things. Now, beast modes are pretty uncommon in animated, so uncommon they mandate a weepy backstory. So, with Blot, the monster mode is the robot mode, which is good, because I'd always wondered, if you had huge pinchy monster arms and you were a Decepticon who didn't have to worry about, like, job interviews or Hollywood's impossible standards of beauty, why would you ever turn into a normal dude? Well, in animated he doesn't. Based on the tank tracks on his arm, he turns into some sort of land vehicle with tank tracks. Hey look, some sort of land vehicle with tank tracks. Yeah, it's a Blotmobile. Tread, turrets, grill nose up the front, and these rocket pods, which you'll notice look very convincingly like rocket pods, and not at all like feet. The rockets themselves I actually cast using Orbitron Blastoff, who, yes, I bought despite saying I wouldn't, because apparently even I don't pay attention to my reviews. I admit it's not the greatest tank mode ever, but it's sort of cute and compact and vaguely threatening. Very vaguely. I suppose in a perfect world I would have continued the treads back with some sort of tread elbow and maybe done something about that ugly unattended back end, but in a perfect world the whole job would have been done for me in my sleep by some sort of helpful gnome who owns a 3D printer. His transformation is quite a lot like Snarl if Snarl had his feet up on his shoulders. Step 1, take the feet down off the shoulders. Then you pull up these nipple flaps on the side, and then we do the whole shoulder separation thing a la Snarl. Finagle those into position. Then the head comes up, helps if you turn the turret. Head comes up, chest goes down. And as that happens, the lower jaw is forced down, revealing the eyes. Fingernails pull out like so. And the lower fingernails flick out from underneath like that. There you go. Blot is back in robot mode. So there's one Blot. And now that he's complete, I don't need to buy the Unique Toys version anymore. And here's how well that worked. This is Troll. Troll, this is the internet. Oh, you've met. I think he's pretty spectacular. I have heard some griping about the gray because it has no basis in G1 and it breaks up the blue. But my counterpoint to that is, I think it looks nice. If it bothers you, just pretend he's wearing a life jacket for when he goes to hang out with his Seacons. The quality's top-notch. Like, if you told me this was Mastermind Creations or Make Toys and I didn't know better, I'd have no reason to doubt you. I've heard some people have some degradation with these black plastic joints, but it hasn't been a problem on mine. The only problem I have had is easily preventable. Like a lot of bots, he runs into issues when his upper thigh bumps into his crotch proper, but unlike a lot of bots, this piece and this piece are actually separate, only held together by a single screw straight up his trumpet. And so if doing this pushes on that and puts pressure on that, it pulls down on this and threatens to strip that screw out. And if that happens, there wouldn't really be a way to replace it. Anyway, as a result of that, he has a little bit of a loose waist, but as long as you're careful while posing him, it's really not an issue. A bit more going on with his transformation than was strictly necessary, which I always appreciate. I especially like the way his bot mode arms store inside his beast mode ones, and the meticulous pegging of things together, and the bonus torso morphing. So basically all of it. I like all of it. And how about that? I just love this thing. This is the mode that made me want it, all angry and squat and burly. It takes his original brickish nose monster conceit and adds form and function and flavor. Like you can totally tell that if he had a voice chip, it would go, I'm not sure I get the point of a loincloth with a big hole in the middle. It's like the crotchless panties of loincloths. Loinclothes? Loins cloth. What's the plural on that? Loincleaths. But I do get these ridiculous little feet juxtaposed against the huge pinchy monster arms. They're so comically weedy, but they still manage to be posable and strong enough to hold him up. And they just give him so much personality. He looks like he'd be right at home in the never-ending story, waddling about, traumatizing children, and not getting held onto by rock biters. Speaking of waddling, I gotta get going. This has been Blot, and also Blot. Wow, if I get much more of these guys, they're gonna them out the sun. Tune in next time as I struggle to come to grips with how my collection has 2 Blots but no Hounds or Sunstreakers. And in the meanwhile, here's a little something for your nightmares. Crotchless panties, crotchless panties, crotchless panties, crotchless panties, crotchless panties, crotchless panties. P.S. Give Pippa a hug for me. I am still wearing the Bacardi shirt she gave me. It seems really well made. I bet I will get another 5.5 years out of it. Enjoy the enclosed crotchless panties. Send.